I think my inner voice is actually very much, I would actually say more than 50% is influenced by the other voices around me.
Yeah, that's so normal. That's where it takes time and practice to separate the two, to hone the two. And we're always being influenced by who we're around. Like your environment influences you heavily. And
Mm,
that is something we cannot always control, but as we grow up in adults and we have more agency, you have a little bit more control over. And so that's something to take very seriously of who am I surrounding myself with? Um, who do I, let see this part of me? Who do I share my dreams with, the things that I value with? Like that matters. As well as what environment am I putting myself in over and over and over again?
what is the practice to almost separate our inner voice and be able to see it as a
Mm.
different voice compared to the other voices?
Oh, that's such a good question. I think, I mean, for me, getting quiet and really being still, learning to sit with myself, which is hard, not always fun. But in those moments, like if you can't distinguish between your own voice and the voices of others around you, I would say you've got way too much input coming in externally. And so we need to sit and we need to get quiet and we need to shut out the noise and we need to kind of ask, like, hey, what do you sound like? What,
Yeah.
like, have that relationship with that inner voice, with your intuition, and tune in and say, like, what do you sound like? What do you feel like? Where do I feel you? For me, and my intuition's strong. I get a very distinct feeling in my body, and I can't always explain it. And over time, I've learned to trust that instead of trying to over intellectualize it at times. I've made the biggest mistakes in my business and in my life by trying to intellectualize that voice because at the time it didn't, like some of the decisions it was pulling me towards didn't make sense logically. Um, and hindsight, I'm like, oh, it was spot on. And those were important lessons for me to learn because now I know you have to trust that, you have to listen to that. But that takes years of, or just maybe not years, maybe just consistently getting quiet, learning how to hear it, learning what it feels like, and learning to listen.
Yes, I think the separation of the inner voice actually allows us to reflect on the external voices as well. Because
Yes.
your point about who we choose to have a drink with, who we choose to have to sit down with, who we choose to work with, who we choose to partner with,
Hmm.
all those decisions can be more efficiently created if we're able to actually distinguish between our inner voice and what our inner voice wants.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And asking yourself, like, you kind of hit this earlier. You're like, oh, it's ego. Like the reason I want 10,000 downloads is ego. And I think that's great to know. And I would always encourage you to continue asking yourself. I'm not judging it either. Like just saying like, okay, egoically, that would be really nice. And sure, that's fair. But on a deeper level, does it feel fulfilling? Is it leading you to actually where you want to go with your life? Is it helping you become the man you want to be? Like those are the deeper questions to it that maybe yes, maybe no, maybe it doesn't matter. I don't know. But for you to sit down and get quiet and start to learn, like, what does my inner voice sound like? Who am I without the influence of everyone else?
What does that look like for you? That silence, that sitting down with the inner voice.
Yeah, for me, meditation is a really powerful way. Journaling is another way. I really love journaling in a way of like kind of subconscious brain dumping. It's really
Mm-hmm.
helpful in the morning. I don't know if you've heard of Julia Cameron, the Artist Way author. She coined the term morning pages, where you sit down and you have to write 3 pages of just like a stream of consciousness. And so for me, you can really get to know yourself on an interesting level, especially about when you get to a page and a half. that's when things really start coming through. Because at first, that's a lot to write, even for me, and I love journaling. But those ways have been really powerful, just like sitting in the quiet, paying attention to your thoughts, paying attention to the sensations of how you feel, like that connection to your body is really, really important when it comes to intuition.
Yeah, I almost bring this up on every podcast. One of my good mates, Sean Pritchard, I had him on the show. He's gonna kill me because I can't remember what waves it is. He does say that when you journal in the morning, it's like some alpha, gamma. There's some like gamma.
Oh
Is it
yeah.
gamma? I can't remember. But like once
I
you wake
don't
up, like you're able to access the subconscious easier.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. There's like theta, yeah, there's all kinds of different
It's
ones.
yeah, it's something.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because what happens, and the same thing with like I love actually visualization as well. Just your subconscious has so much to show you, and it does this in dreams when you're literally asleep, but it can do this in visualization too. You get into that state of consciousness where your conscious mind can chill out and take a break, and your subconscious can come forward. And it's highly symbolic, and there's some interesting things that sometimes don't make sense, but can provide a lot of insight to who you are, kind of in the hidden, to your literal hidden mentality, can really show you so much there. And so being curious about that and getting yourself into that meditative state where you can allow your subconscious to come through and show you things. And I do this a lot, especially when I have decisions that I'm not clear on, or if I have a really big fear about making a decision, like let me get quiet and let me meditate, visualize, let me journal, let me get into this state. It is helpful early in the morning for sure. But and let me see what wisdom I can find there. And it's profound in how it works.
Yes, people, if you enjoyed that clip, remember to subscribe and like the clip, and you can check out the full episode right here. Yep, it's right here. Just press it. Just tap it. It's right there.